What is going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, back in Vancouver, rocking the new James White Sweet Feet sweater. Here with Kevole, who is live from Egypt, and Dilly Vanilli, who's in his normal location. Kevole, can you take us a little trip around Egypt over there?
Well, it's fantastic. It's very Egypt and very Egypt is going on here. Yes.
He's actually in the mall. So we're getting a classic Kevole on location in the mall right after work.
I just got off my job. I have to work for a living. I don't get YouTube super chats just popping up from Ultra or Winter. You know, I got to do some work here, you know.
Yeah. All right. You also got to do some picks and some comeback and some picks because that's where we're at right now. Kevole's in last place, right, Dilly Vanilli? Update the people. How are we doing in the picks? We're in week 14. We're almost there. We're almost at the end of the regular season, and then we'll have a separate picks for the winner of the playoffs. But what do you think, Dylan? What's going on?
All right. So last week, a little bit more of a struggle than it was in week 12. I went 10-6, and the other boys went 9-7. So right now we have an interesting, lineup for our records. I'm in first place, 122, 68-2. Mitch is in second place, 2 games behind right now, 120, 70-2. And Kev, 116, 74-2. He needs to pick up those dubs this week. He needs to help himself out this week because we only got 4 weeks left. Only 4 more of these videos left. So it's a big week for all 3 of us here.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Giant week. Kevole, give yourself a pep talk right now. What needs to happen for you to come back in these picks?
Well, I think what needs to happen is these teams that I'm picking need to play better. Listen, I was only 1 game off from you guys. There was a bunch of upsets last week, for one thing. Maybe the Indianapolis Colts can score a point. Maybe that would have helped. Hello, Indianapolis. I mean, maybe Eric Ebron could have stayed inbounds. Maybe the Chicago Bears should have taken the New York Giants just a tad more seriously. And I don't know, maybe Ben could have showed up in the second half. Yeah, I said it, Ben. Quit accusing everybody else of your problems. It's your fault. Yeah. Anyway.
All right, that's Kev's pep talk to the players, not necessarily
It's not my fault.
It's not his fault. It's all the players and the team's fault. All right, let's get into it. Thursday night football, a Thursday night game that I really feel like nobody really wants to watch this week, between the Jacksonville Jaguars and the Tennessee Titans. The Jaguars came up with a huge victory over the Colts and screwed me out of so much money. It pissed me right off. But, it is what it is. The Jacksonville Jaguars, maybe they're inspired playing with their new quarterback, Cody Kessler. Maybe they're inspired having to pick up the slack without Leonard Fournette there. Their defense was unreal last week. The Tennessee Titans on the other side, they still have something to fight for. The Jaguars, as much as they're playing for pride, the Titans actually have something to play for. They still are in it when it comes to the playoffs. So they're looking to get that 6th seed right now. And also their defense, I mean, they got the win against the Jets. I feel like it was kind of, they got the win. I don't really feel like it was a big win, an impressive victory by any means, but they achieved the result that they wanted to achieve. This week, they are going to have to play, I believe, a little bit better. It's a divisional game. This should be a low-scoring game. We know that in this series, the Titans have dominated this series. Blake Bortles, no Blake Bortles. Fournette, no Fournette. Doesn't really matter. Even when the Jaguars are good, the Titans have dominated this series. I know, different head coach, but still same story earlier this season. It should be a low-scoring game, defensive game. I'm going with the Tennessee Titans at home. It's Thursday night football. Big time for the home team. Always, that's a huge advantage. They don't have to travel on a short week. And it's a primetime game, so obviously that just helps in terms of the home atmosphere. Second thing, I think the first time around, it will be a very similar result. I think the Titans defensively will dominate this game, get some pressure on Cody Kessler. Then it was Blake Bortles. And I think the run game will not be very effective for the Jaguars. I think on the opposite side of things, I don't see the Titans doing much on offense, but they have a little bit more to work with, whether that's Mariota at quarterback or Lewis at running back or Davis at receiver. I just think they have a couple more plays in them, and they're at home, and this is a big game where they need to win. So I'm going with the Titans. Dylan, who are you going with here?
I'm going with the Tennessee Titans. I cannot trust Blake Bortles or the Jaguars. I'm probably still going with Cody Kessler. I still can't trust them to win big games. They won 6-0 last week, which means if one touchdown, a 4th and goal conversion, literally anything to get in the end zone, the game would have been 7-6. But I'm not going to play revisionist history. I'm going to look at this week. The Titans need this win. They came up big. They got the Malcolm Butler interception to finish the game off and clinch that win for them against the Jets. It wasn't a very good win, but in the NFL, you'll take it week by week. You'll take a victory, especially since you're trying to fight for the 6th seed. They really need this game against the Jaguars. And like you said, the Titans are very good against the no matter who's playing on the field. You usually own the series. I was really sad about missing last week's game. I'm not going to be sad about missing this week's game. And I think you should just move the committee to get this on Comedy Central. I think they would really love this game.
This is your joke every single time these guys play. Can you get a new joke? Can you like go into the bag of jokes and like pull a new one out?
I got a good bag of jokes, but this game does not deserve another good joke because it works so well, Mitch. That's what happens. I'm going with the Titans.
Dylan, why do they keep putting this game on prime time? Like at a certain point, even when these teams are good, this game sucks. Did they not realize that?
This is the Thursday night regime, right? It's been better this year, but like they still have to throw this game in. Just be like, just reminding everybody, this is Thursday night football. Don't forget, we're the worst of the primetime games. We're still Thursday night football. So yeah, I'm going with the Titans. I don't like either team though. It's gonna be like 9-6. Going 9-6.
Wasn't that the score of the first game? Kevole, go ahead.
Just hang on a second here. Hold on. Yes? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'll let him know. That was someone here in Egypt. They've heard your joke 17 times and they want you to stop.
That was very convincing.
Yeah. I just can't believe this. The Jacksonville Jaguars are just one of the most disappointing teams in the league. I think what a mess that they are. Yeah, they won 6-0. Cody Kessler isn't necessarily a solution to quarterback. The Jacksonville offense is not very good. And the Tennessee Titans are not a great football team, but they seem to find ways to win. And I cannot figure this out for the life of me, how they are at the record that they are at and how they are still playoff bound. But no team on Thursday night, no home team on Thursday night this season has lost a game at home. So you go with the Titans here. It's so because they're playing in Nashville, Tennessee. So I have to go with the Tennessee Titans here.
Good stat, Kevole. I didn't know that.
Echo. Where's the echo coming from?
Kev, go on mute. Okay.
There we go.
Moving on.
That's
all right. Going to Sunday. The Buffalo Bills will host the New York Jets lose at home. Yeah. And the Buffalo Bills should have win last week, or 1-1-1, I should say, using proper English. How do I explain this? Josh Allen ran in a circle, avoided multiple defenders, threw it in the back of the end zone to a person who was wide open, Charles Clay, and he dropped the ball in the back of the end zone. That's how the Buffalo Bills lost. They were almost at 5 wins, Dilly. 5 miracle wins, Dilly Vanilli.
Insane.
There was no one in the actual stadium or in the city of Miami close to Charles Clay. Like, he was literally that wide open.
Like, if you watched it on TV, the shot of him in the end zone, there was no one else in the entire picture. It was just him.
He could have laid out for the catch and then walked in for the touchdown. It's insane.
The first time these two teams played, Buffalo absolutely destroyed the New York Jets. I think it was like 46-3. I could be wrong. It's something like that. It was pretty bad. This time around, I don't think it will be quite as bad, but I do still think the Buffalo Bills will win this game. I think the Bills are the better football team right now. They are playing really well defensively, and they have all season. They force turnovers. They're tough on you in coverage, and they don't have a bad pass rush, and they have a very good coach. I think the difference between these two teams is McDermott has been really good for the Bills all year, last year included, and he's taken a team that is probably one of, if not the least talented team in the NFL and made them actually competent at times. While the Jets, I just don't think Bowles, while I think he can do some things on defense fairly well, I don't think he hasn't proven himself in many seasons to be a great head coach. And I think that just continues. And that's been the difference for me between these two teams. I think that's a difference again, as well as the play at quarterback. I think Josh Allen has been far better than whoever the Jets have had, especially recently. And I think Allen makes a couple plays. They cut Calvin Benjamin. They said, see you later. You can go play defensive tackle for somebody else. And Zay Jones has been playing well. So I'm going to go with the Buffalo Bills here. They're just a team fighting harder, playing better, and have a better coaching quarterback. Dylan.
We're getting a quarterback matchup between two of the highly rated quarterbacks from last year's draft. This is not a game to watch for anything else other than just that reason alone, but that should be interesting. Kelvin Benjamin's going to be joining his buddy Eddie Lacy at the Chinese buffet. I think they're going to be reserving the restaurant at about 7 o'clock. I want to make sure they got everything ready to go there. But that being said, they had to trim the fat. The Bills are just a better team. Like, they're not a very good team, but they try just a little bit more than just a little bit here. And I think that the Jets are not going to put a big fight here. And we saw what we saw with the Bills absolutely destroying them the first time. I don't think it's going to happen that bad, but I think it's still going to be a big win because I don't see any differences really. So I'm going with the Bills. I think this is going to be a little bit lower scoring than the first game, but I think the Bills will win.
Hold on. Yes?
Mm-hmm. This is a game we're going to do.
This was a message for Eddie Lacy and Calvin Benjamin. If they are interested here in having them over for some food here, if they want to enjoy some Egyptian food, that's also welcome to them as well. If they want to change from the Chinese food diet to the Egyptian food diet, that is welcome. To be specific, that game was 41-10 for the Buffalo Bills. Dylan, I have to disagree with you just a little bit. I actually think the Bills have been more than trying a little bit better. I think they've been trying a lot. They're just not a talented.
They're just no good.
They're no good right now. But I really do think that Josh Allen is better than Sam Darnold. Yes, I did say that. I think that Josh Allen has some talent that the Bills can actually have a competitive football team around them eventually, slowly but surely. There's something there. That's why I'm picking the Bills. I agree with Mitch. I think the Jets are just not that good of a football team. Bowles is fine defensively. He's playing out the string here because I don't think he's back next year. But I think the Bills there's something possible coming, hopefully. With Josh Allen, I think there is something there. I will say that.
I will say, Kevole, not only is Josh Allen better than Sam Darnold, but I'm backing up my boy full. He's been the best rookie quarterback when he's played this year, in my opinion. I will allow any debates, but I'm going with Josh Allen so far this year at rookie quarterback. I don't think this has been a great year for rookie quarterbacks, by the way.
I think Baker's been inconsistent. It's between Baker and Josh, I think.
Mm-hmm.
I think that would be fair to say. But Baker, I think, has at best been inconsistent.
I think all of them have been inconsistent.
Pretty much.
Yeah, I just think Josh Allen's been the most impressive, I guess. Baker's been really good as well at times. But, I mean, Lamar Jackson kind of started. Darnold's probably been the worst of all of them.
Especially how he started. How this guy started week 1 against Detroit in that game. Considering what has happened, yeah, I think Darnold has been. I think it's fair to call Darnold a bit of a disappointment this year. At least with Rosen, he never started the season, so
I would still put Baker at the top, but Josh has been impressive, in my opinion.
Okay, moving on to Mr. Baker. Baker plays at home against Mr. Cam Newton and the Carolina stinking it up Panthers. The Carolina Panthers, just a couple of weeks ago, like a few short weeks ago, we were saying, hey, Panthers, they're going to get the wild card. Who's the other team getting the wild card? That's what we were wondering. Right now, we're saying Panthers, DUNE, right, Dilly?
DUNE, baby. They're done. They're done.
They're DUNE done, I think.
I'm not necessarily saying that.
I'm not necessarily saying that, but that's what Dilly's put out there, and I know he stands by that. I think they have to win this game, and I am saying that they will not win this game because the defense is trashola. They can't cover me. So that being said, I don't think they'll be able to cover Jarvis Landry or David Njoku because they're a little bit better than me at football. So that being said, I'm going with the Cleveland Browns. I do think this game might be the most exciting game of the entire weekend. It has that potential to be high scoring, very fun. Of course, McCaffrey's playing excellent. Cam is still doing his thing. Curtis Samuel's actually doing some stuff. The Panthers offense in general has been pretty decent. Their offensive line has been really poor lately, though, and giving up a lot of pressures and sacks, which has not been good for their offense. But their defense in general has just given up way too many big plays. They're not getting to the quarterback. And that was one of my biggest concerns coming into the year is that their pass rush and their defense in general was too old. They couldn't get there. And their secondary, as much as they added Dante Jackson and he's played well, when he's been injured, they look awful. And I think that's continued. So the Panthers need significant upgrades on their defense. I think this is another game that they lose. And even my buddy Brett, who's a Panthers fan, says they're going to lose this game. I think Baker Mayfield has a big game here, and I think that they rip up the Panthers defense and win 31-28.
I think the Bake Man's going to win a little dangerous on Sunday. I'm going with the Brownies in this game. I got a couple of reasons. First off, Cam Newton threw 4 interceptions last week against the Bucs. That's not good. The Bucs, I know you guys are making the comment.
They're Bucs, still alive. Baby. They're coming on, baby.
They're alive. They are mathematically alive, but they are not going to do much. That being said, when you throw 4 interceptions in the game, chances are you're not going to win the football game. And they didn't, even though it was only 24-17. I think in this game, the Browns are going to put the pressure. I still think C-Mac is going to do his thing. He's been great this year. And Cam can make his explosive moments. But I just want to see what that offense for the Browns can do. Nick Chubb has been awesome. He's been really, really good for the Browns. And I think the Bake Man's going to wake up feeling dangerous, going to Jarvis Landry. Hopefully he has a bigger game, a bigger impact on this game, because the last couple of weeks it's been a little shaky there. But I just think right now the Panthers' confidence is shook. Are really shaken up as a team the last 4 weeks after having such a big lead in the wild card chase. 6-2. You were like 1 game behind the Saints in your own division, and there was still maybe talks of you beating them. But not only that, you play them 2 times in the next 4 weeks. And although they really need this victory to keep it alive, don't think that's going to happen. I think the Browns are going to take it and solidify the Panthers being DUNE.
Hold on a second. Yes? Okay. Something recently happened here in Egypt that I do need to let you know. A Carolina defensive back, and they're not telling me what the name of that defensive back is, was supposed to cover someone to hold them at the restaurant, and they couldn't simply do it. So I don't know what happened. It's really embarrassing. I would like to take you to December 14th or December 7th, 2019. I want to bring you to the future because I'm going to start this right now. The Cleveland Browns in 2019 will be fighting legitimately in a conversation for a playoff spot next year. I am making that bold prediction.
I agree.
I think they are there. I am also picking Cleveland to win this game. I think that there's a lot to really like about Cleveland and a lot not to like about Cleveland. And unfortunately, Christian McCaffrey's having a great season. Cam is even at the game against Seattle, as much as that offense was running down the field, when they got in the red zone, they were shooting themselves in the foot time after time after time. There is a lot of things going on in Carolina. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's probably the second most dysfunctional team in the league right now. We're going to get to the most dysfunctional team in the league, and it's not the New York Giants. How is that possible? Anyway, yeah, I'm picking Cleveland to win this as well.
Interesting. I thought at least one of us would pick the Panthers. That to me means we're all going to get this wrong and the Panthers are going to win.
Absolutely. But I'm celebrating because it's a Christmas miracle. We all picked the Browns.
Wow.
Let's go.
All right. The most dysfunctional team in the NFL, I think this is who Kevole is alluding to, because they have a bigger diva than Antonio Brown, Big Ben, Odell, Aaron Rodgers, and the Green Bay Packers play at home against the Atlanta Falcons. And a big reason why Mr. McCarthy got fired was because of Mr. Rodgers and Rodgers' neighborhood. And they're playing at home. They're playing Atlanta. But I can't trust them to win this game. They're favored by 14 points last week against the Arizona Cardinals. 14 points, and they lost that game. 14 points. Their coach is gone, but that doesn't solve things right away. Their offense is just too simplistic. Aaron Rodgers is having to run around and make plays, and whenever a play is drawn up for him, he just seems to audible it. Aaron Jones is really their only offense right now besides Devontae Adams, and everybody else is like, I don't even know if they exist. Defensively, they have Jari Alexander. They can stop the run sometimes. At other times, they can't. They're just a very inconsistent defense. They can play well. They can play bad. Their offense, they really haven't been explosive all year long, so I don't know why we would count on that in this game. I know that Atlanta's on the road, and I know it's in a cold place where they usually don't fare very well in that sort of climate, but I'm willing to count on them because I think I know what I can expect from them just in general. I know that their offense has not been very good as of late. Matt Ryan has not been playing very well. Their offensive line is not opening up holes for their running game, where their running game is really struggling. Julio is still playing like Julio. Calvin Ridley's been very inconsistent. I think both of these teams have been very disappointing this year. And Atlanta's defense, they got Deion Jones back. Their secondary has played a little bit better, but their run defense has been overpowered. So I think this game could go either way legitimately. They're both pretty bad teams. But I'm going with Atlanta just because they're less dysfunctional, as Kevole would say. And I think I can expect what they're going to bring to the game a little bit more than what I can get from the Packers in general. So I'm going to go 24-20 for Atlanta to win on the last drive of the game. Dylan.
I don't like either of these teams. I don't like either of these teams at this moment. The Packers, they got rid of McCarthy. It's something that they needed to do. The question of whether or not they should have fired him in the middle of the season is still up to debate, but he needed to go. The thing is, we're still in 2018, 2019 football, not the next season. So this isn't going to really impact or not going to help them until the next season. I'm going with the Falcons. I think the Packers right now are just kind of swirling around. They realize they don't have a chance to make the playoffs. I guess technically neither of these teams do. But, they know what their season is. They've already fired their head coach, which tells me they've already signed in the fact that they're not going to make the playoffs and they're not really going to try as much as they should or would before. And the Falcons' offense, when they can get it going, they can do stuff. I know Calvin Ridley's very inconsistent, but it's been like one game bad, one game good. He had a bad game, so I'm expecting a good game. And Matt Ryan has still been putting up some pretty good numbers. So that tells me that the Falcons are just a better team right now. I'm picking the Falcons.
I'm going to go with the Green Bay Packers, even though I think they're a dysfunctional mess and a disaster. This is why they're part of the dysfunctional mess, and is there are many people out there. I actually have to agree with Mr. Skip Bayless. I'm sorry. Skip Bayless seems to be one of the few people out there that is actually saying, look, can we stop calling Aaron Rodgers a GOAT? Because maybe he's not as good as we think he is. Anyway, that's a whole other side debate. But I do think Aaron Rodgers is going to try to prove a point without Mike McCarthy and play at one of his best games of the season. And I can't trust Atlanta offensively or defensively to get the job done. I think that their stats are wonderful, but they can't get themselves in the end zone or can make a big stop or a key play at any time. And I think they actually have a little bit less confidence to win a game in any situation than I feel that Aaron Rodgers will show up this week to prove a point to Mike McCarthy. That's why I'm picking the Packers at home. And they did get embarrassed a little bit last week by losing to Arizona. So I think that they're going to be on their game this week.
You know what, Kev? I've actually, can I switch my pick? Right now.
You're going to switch his pick.
I'm picking the Packers right now because Ultra gave me back talk on Matt Ryan. So I'm going with the Green Bay Packers to win this game at home. And I'll give you one reason why. I just watched the Ravens game against Atlanta. The Ravens just went like this. Snap ball, handball off, snap ball, handball off, snap ball, handball off, snap ball, fake handoff, throw down the field. That's all they did. That's all they did. Atlanta couldn't stop it, so I'm going with the Packers. And I'm gonna get to this Matt Ryan thing, okay? Matt Ryan last week, 16 for 26, 131 yards.
Mm-hmm.
I can't say he played poorly in that game.
But you can't say he played great.
He got a bunch of garbage points against the Saints. So, just putting that out there. Switch my pick. Okay.
Interesting.
Next, Indianapolis at the Houston Texans. This is a good game. This is a really good game. I don't know who's going to win. Because
why do the Colts seem like they play divisional rivals every week?
Because
it's like
it's
Texans.
Yeah.
Here's the Jags. Yeah, it's weird. Really weird.
It's weird, but they do, I think. I don't know. Maybe because everybody's a rival of the Colts. Who knows? So this week, Houston, I mean, Houston's on a tear. It's hard not to pick Houston. And the way that the Colts played against the Jaguars, it's hard not to pick Houston because of that. I want to see what you guys think about this game first off. So I'm going to give it to Kevole to start it off. Do you think that the Colts bounce back here? And do you think that was just a random game that happened against the Jaguars? Or do you think that Houston is really going to show that they're the best team in the AFC South?
I almost feel like in some ways Houston is a little bit due. I mean, let's have a quick look at that schedule because it's like my problem is what Houston is doing is actually quite impressive because they've won 9 in a row, but they beat. I mean, although we're giving Cleveland the victory over Carolina, they beat Cleveland. They've beaten a pretty bad Tennessee team, although we're picking them against Jacksonville. I don't think that they've had that signature win, but they seem to have found a way to keep winning. I feel like every time that Indianapolis is getting some sort of progress, they're finding a way to shoot themselves in the foot. I'm going to go with Houston here, but I think that this game is going to be a lot closer than – I think this will be a really close and tight game. There's a part of me that wouldn't be surprised if Indy wins. But I feel like at the end of the day, I feel like Houston's going to find the opportunity to win this year seems to be on Houston. And Indy's been shooting themselves at a little bit of foot. So I'm going to go with Houston here in a 3-point game. Not that it's 3-0, but it'll be a 3-point difference.
Let's take a magical trip back to week 4. The Colts and the Texans, they played each other. It was a physical game. It was a banger, some might call it. It went into overtime. And then the decision not to punt it, the decision in the overtime to mess up the Colts. And it started a winning trend for the Houston Texans. That was their first win of the year. They've won 9 straight. That was a big turning point. 4-3. How many teams are going to be like, all right, we're going to be right back on it. We're going to get on our high horse and do our best and get back in the playoff race. They've won 9 since this game. That being said, I'm going to go with the Texans. I just think the Texans realize how big and important that game was. And they need to continue that momentum against their own division. They need to continue this race because, again, there's 2 teams not really on them. You know, they're trying to fight for a wild card. But it's very nice to pick up a divisional victory en route to winning your own division. And I think the Texans saw what happened in that game. I think they're going to be more prepared because there was moments where the Colts could have won that game. The Colts were in a very bad losing streak of their own at that point, but they had chances to win that football game. That being said, I think the Texans are going to be more prepared and realize that was the start of something we're going to continue going forward. So I'm going with the Texans, but if the Colts want to show up this week and put in their participation grade, they can do something. They can make this again for sure.
Before you go, Mitch, I do want to point out this is actually quite a huge game for the Colts as well.
Yep.
They have a real big shot at, like, this is one, if they can win this, considering everybody else's schedule, they may have the edge of getting getting into that 6th wild card spot. And especially what's going on with the Broncos and Emmanuel Sanders and Ravens a bit inconsistent. If they get this one, I think it may put them in the lead for that wild card spot, that 6th spot.
Yeah, I'm going to go with the Texans, but I swayed a lot on this pick. I do feel like what Kevole said. I know it makes no sense at all, but the Texans seem a little bit due to lose the game. Like, don't they? It just feels like they're not a 13-3 team. They're not. There's no way they're only losing 3 games this year. And look at their schedule. I mean, it's been cupcake. So there's a reason why they are this record right now. But at the same time, I mean, they're playing well. And I think their defense is playing specifically well. And just what I saw against Jacksonville with the Colts is Jacksonville really was one of the only teams to get pressure on the Colts. And if the Texans, the way J.J. Watt and Jadeveon Clowney are playing, can get some sort of pressure on the Colts, that might be the difference in this game, because I do feel this game will be a shootout. I do feel like Luck and Watson will play both really well, the same way they played in the first meeting. But I just think that the Texans have a better defense with a couple of more playmakers, and the game's at home, which is the difference. Plus, they're riding a big momentum wave. Maybe they come out flat in this game. That's always possible. But I just think the team playing the better football with a little bit more talent is the Texans. So I'm going to go with the Texans, but it's going to be a very close competitive game, and I would not be surprised if the Colts won. If the Colts do win, we are legitimately going to see the flaws in the Texans. That's what I do believe. If the Colts do win this game, it's because Luck throws for 350. He throws for 3 touchdowns. Their secondary is exposed, and maybe the Texans aren't able to block up front very well. Those would be the flaws in the Texans, and that would be what the Colts could expose of them. But I don't really think that's going to happen as much as the Texans are going to take advantage of the Colts.
Yeah, I think this is going to be it is an interesting game, because it's to me this one and the Eagles, I think, are going to be the interesting tests for the Texans. They're not going to run the table until the end of the year. They're not. They are due for a loss.
They're going to lose to someone. I just don't know who.
Yeah.
All right. This is an interesting one. The Baltimore Ravens at the Kansas City Chiefs. Lamar Jackson and the undefeated Lamar Jacksons come in to play the Kansas City Chiefs. And the Chiefs last week had a very interesting game against the Oakland Raiders. I just watched like an hour ago, so it's fresh in my mind. The Oakland Raiders in that game fumbled the ball 3 times, twice in the first quarter, and the Raiders legitimately could have beat the Chiefs last week, which probably has many in their mind thinking that the Ravens can win this game, while the Ravens physically dominated the Atlanta Falcons last week, and Atlanta scored 6 of their points from a 60-yard fumble return. So this week's interesting because how are we going to see against a good defense at home, what are the Chiefs going to do offensively without Kareem Hunt? I think that's the biggest question, the most compelling storyline in this game. And then on the other side of things, we have to see, okay, how legit are the Ravens as a playoff threat, as a wild card team? Because if they win this game, they're in the driver's seat to get that 6th seed. And I think the Ravens, if they're going to win this game, they need to run the ball very well. They need to maintain the possession and basically do what they did against Atlanta. If they can do that with consistency, they'll win this game. And the Chiefs defense doesn't put up much of a resistance. But we'll see what happens because it's in Kansas City, so it's a little bit different. If this game was in Baltimore, I would pick the Ravens. But because it's in Kansas City, I have to go with the Chiefs. I think that one problem, even though the Ravens defense is number 1 in the NFL right now in terms of statistics, I would go and say that the Chiefs are an offense that are tough for the Ravens because of their speed, specifically Tyreek Hill and those sort of things. One thing I did notice about the Chiefs' running game against the Raiders, first off, are a terrible run defense, and the Chiefs couldn't really run the ball very well. And a big reason for that is what I noticed is they can't really run. You know that outside zone play that they always love to run with Kareem Hunt, where like Mahomes like hands it off and then they run it to the sidelines almost. Yeah. That play pretty much does not exist with Ware. Like it just doesn't work because he doesn't have the speed or the vision to cut back. So I want to see how the Ravens try and stop the Chiefs. But overall, I'm going to go with the Chiefs. I think it will be 27-24 Chiefs. But I could easily see the Ravens winning this game. And maybe I'm not ballsy enough to pick them quite yet because I don't think they've been consistent enough in the passing game on offense to win the game, but we'll see. Dylan, who are you picking?
Well, the Chiefs actually had the second most rushing yards they've had as a team all year last week against the Raiders, which I found pretty damn interesting to me. And this Ravens team as a whole is pretty interesting. It's a pretty intriguing team. All the rookie quarterbacks this year have 3 wins under their belt, but Lamar is the only one left to be defeated. This week, I think, is the week that he's just going to be beaten. And it's not really because, it's the Chiefs. Like, the Chiefs are just too strong, in my opinion, for the Ravens to win. Like, I love Lamar Jackson. He makes the plays. He makes this team, A, watchable, and B, a lot more intriguing to watch as the season goes on. But I just think the Chiefs are too strong at this point right now to lose to the Ravens. I think the Ravens will try their hardest. They'll make some really, really solid plays. But again, Patrick Mahomes throws like a beast. I mean, there's ridiculous numbers. Again, if you think Mahomes is not the MVP, you can click out right now. Mahomes keeps this team from sinking into the water because their defense is atrocious. I mean, God, atrocious. But their offense gets it done. Travis Kelce had 2 touchdowns, and Mahomes makes the plays enough to get them solid wins. Even against, even in a bad performance against the Raiders, they still put up 40 points. And I know it's going to be hard to do that in the playoffs, but in this game, I think they're going to get it done. Chiefs are going to take the victory just based on their high-powered offense.
Oh, and I would like to say to Dylan's point that they ran for the second or third most yards?
Second.
Mahomes led them in yards, so I just want to say that.
Well, Kev. I mean, either way, I mean, they
I'm still saying like it wasn't because of their running backs, is what I was trying to say.
No. I mean, Tyreek Hill had like a decent amount of yards.
Yeah. Mahomes and Hill combined had over 90 yards, or like not 89 yards. Yeah.
To me, what I'm interested in from Kansas City's perspective is this is just a little bit over a week when one of your best players has been involved in not 1, not 2, but 3 scuffles and altercations. I can't help but think that this is a huge distraction this late in the year. That I think we might be overlooking a little bit. I don't think that they're the best team in the AFC anymore. I don't think you can say that. I know that this game is at home. I know that the talent is there, and I'm not disputing that Patrick Mahomes is not a beast, but I also feel that this is very much a trap game for Kansas City. I'm going to do it, and I'm going to pick the Baltimore Ravens. I just have this. Look, sometimes this is
all right. I got another win. Let's go.
That's. I know Dylan's cheering because he thinks that he's going to get another win in the imaginary standings. But for me, I'm just giving you respect, Kevole, for that. That's it.
I'm ready to put this one on the wall real quick.
Put some artwork up there, bro. Look at all this artwork I got.
Yeah. Look at that. This is simplistic as a
Kevole doesn't need any artwork because he's a piece of art.
I'm in Egypt. Right? Oh, what's that? Hang on. Hold on. I'm not allowed to have any artwork here in Egypt. So ridiculous. Anyway, I'm kidding. I think Baltimore is going to be able to run the ball. I think Baltimore is going to be able to control the line of scrimmage. I think Baltimore's defense is going to be one of the first troubling tests for Patrick Mahomes. And I'm sorry. I think that this Kansas City defense, it's troubling to me. Just to remind everyone, 54 points. They blew, of course, it's the Rams, but it's 54 points. 30 points against a very anemic Oakland Raiders football team. This defense isn't very good. And if the Baltimore Ravens control the line of scrimmage the way that I think that they do, and they keep this a low-scoring game, I think this is to Baltimore's advantage, and I think that this is going to happen. This is going to be a very interesting test for Patrick Mahomes, because I think this will be one of his better defenses that he's facing.
I am surprised that anyone else on the Chiefs are going down bandwagon like I am.
Well,
I feel like I think I said this on the live stream, but if I didn't, I think the Chiefs are the #1 team on the list that could be one and done out of all the top teams.
Now, did you say that before 27 left?
No,
I did. I've been on that bandwagon.
but
I believe that they're a one.
I don't even think it's necessarily that Kareem Hunt is not there. I think it's more, to me, Kev, the fact that their defense is so bad. In the playoffs, it's so hard to win against good teams with that bad of a defense.
Yeah,
I'm not counting anything out until Patrick Mahomes doesn't throw for 4 touchdowns a game. He has 7 4-touchdown
But in the
passes.
playoffs, it changes. How many times has Peyton Manning thrown for 4 touchdowns? He gets to the playoffs, goes one and done.
Half the league hasn't had more 7 or 4 touchdown games in 12 years. Like, I'm just gonna give the man credit until.
Well, obviously, I'm the guy that made the video that Patrick Mahomes should be MVP. I'm just saying I don't think their team is good enough.
Until somebody proves me wrong, I'm gonna put them near the top. I want somebody to prove me wrong. We'll see. But I haven't been proved wrong in this scenario. Even the Rams game, they still put up 51
Because it's the
points.
regular season, bro. I'm telling you.
So regular season.
I'm telling you. I'm telling you.
I'm not blaming the Chiefs for losing in the playoffs. Is because Alex Smith was the quarterback. There's a different scenario this year.
I think
it's Alex Smith at defense.
I think it's more than Alex.
No, the coaching was a big problem as well, but the combined factor of Mahomes and Reed.
I love Mahomes. I'm just saying, when you have a defense this bad, they couldn't stop the Raiders. The Raiders stopped themselves.
Yeah.
They still put up 40 points. I get their defense is atrocious. I've been saying
because they played the Raiders.
They still won. What do you want them to do? Their defense is garbage. I'm not defending their defense.
But this is the same argument I'm having when what was the same team when me and AC would argue, where I would say, okay, I think it was the Chiefs. I think it was the Chiefs. It might have been the Chiefs. It might have been the Steelers, somebody like that. But it's just like, these things matter. I know that they beat the Raiders, and they barely beat the Raiders. I'm going to say the same things about the Rams. I don't think it's the Rams defense necessarily, but the way they played against the Lions, which, spoiler alert, we'll get to, that is the type of play that in December, if you play like that in January, you're going to get your ass kicked. You're going to lose.
Of course, because that's a different month. Of course, you can play like that in January.
No, you don't understand the fact that you're not playing the Lions.
Yeah.
But you won. Who cares? Like,
I care.
You have to.
Okay, we'll see about it come January.
How many times in December did the Eagles just lay an egg and or the Patriots or the Broncos in 2015? Any Super Bowl team of the last 10 years, how many times did they just lay an egg in December? Or
that's all past works. We got to work on what's going on right now. Until somebody proves me wrong, I'm not putting the Chiefs anybody lower. Their defense is garbage, but their offense backs it up.
You will not be winning 54-51 in the playoffs. I'm telling you that right now.
That game will never exist. The fact that even happened once is amazing. It's not going to happen in 2019. But you're not going to play an offense like that except for the Rams. So
the Patriots beat them scoring 43 points. 43. You don't think the Steelers can score 40 on them? You don't think the Chargers can score 40 on them? You don't think the Saints can score 40 on them? You don't think the Texans can score 40 on them?
I guess you don't want me to talk. The Steelers, they were close to it. I think they can. The Chargers can't do it.
I disagree. I think the Chargers can score 40 on Kansas City. Go ahead.
I don't think they can. I don't think they can. I think the Saints can. But still, I need to see it in the. I mean, obviously, we're talking about playoff stuff, so that's still a month away. But I'm still backing it up. If the Ravens win, fine, I'll change my opinion, but that's how I'm keeping it, guys.
I still don't think he understands what I'm saying, but whatever. We'll move on.
I get what you're saying. I hear you. The fact that you don't think I hear you is a little bit annoying to me, but I'm telling you what I'm seeing right now.
Okay.
I'm picking the Ravens. Dylan can chalk it up for a victory for him, but I'm sticking with this. Ravens.
That was a good talk, though. I think we needed to have that talk about the Chiefs. Okay. Move on.
We are going to have another talk about another team here very soon.
Okay.
Very soon. I know that you want to talk. I want to talk about them as well.
The New Orleans Saints at the Tampa Bay Bucca playoffs because they're going book the playoffs for the Buccaroos. They're going there, baby. The Buccaneers play at home against the Saints. By the way, who won the first game? Kevole?
The Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I believe AC was laughing at me for that.
Yes.
Because we were picking the Saints to win the Super Bowl, and they lose to Tampa Bay in New Orleans.
And this
we
time
were making jokes about that.
And I'm going to tell you right now, I truly believe this. Tampa Bay is the toughest team that the Saints play in their own division.
Shit.
The reason why is because Tampa Bay gives no Fs. They just go out there, and Winston will be like, oh, shit, 60 yards? I'll just throw it. I don't care. It's intercepted, whatever. Maybe I'll get it for 60 yards. So that's how they won the first game because Fitzpatrick was like, Fitzpatrick was like, oh, shit, 50 yards? I'll try. Why not? And that's the type of team and the quarterback play that I actually think gives like teams like the Saints like issues because they just force the issue. The Saints will probably get 2 or 3 interceptions, but they'll also let up 3 or 4 touchdowns because they are exposable, but they are also a team that's going to capitalize off mistakes. So I do believe that the Saints will win, but I don't think it's going to be easy. I think it's going to be like 31-24, something like that, because I think that the Bucs are just this team that match up well with the Saints, and they just give them issues because of the way that they play, and they give no Fs. So I'm going to go with the Saints. But I think it's going to be a compelling, interesting game.
This is one of the 2 losses that they had, but the big thing for me is that was week 1, and a lot of teams have struggles in week 1 that we don't normally see coming into the first week of the season. The Saints have won every game except last week, and they're still one of the hottest teams, if not, they're still in pretty good shape, all things considered. They'll clinch the NFC South this week. I got the Saints here. No question about it for me. I mean, the Bucs are going to try their hardest, and they'll play a competitive game. I'm not going to be surprised that they put up some big numbers on them. But the Saints are going to be ready to go and fired up after last week's loss. So, Saints.
Yeah, I'm picking the Saints here. Probably it'll be a high-scoring offensive game, but I think that the Saints will end up winning. I think the Saints will just bounce back from a tough day in Dallas. They will get back onto the track and onto the road of being New Orleans Saints.
Okay, we're going to go to the next game, which is the New York Giants and the quarterback Odell Beckham Jr. taking on quarterback Mark Sanchez in Washington. Washington, okay. I think
sounds awful.
Michael Lombardi had a very good point. He said that Washington always blames, and their fans always blame the fact that they don't make it to the playoffs or do well because they get injured. But at a certain point, when you get injured 3 or 4 years in a row, is that not a problem? Is that more than just a fluke? I mean, this team is injured again. Not only their quarterbacks are injured, their offensive line, their receivers, their defense, it doesn't matter. I think they need to change something in this organization. The Washington Redskins have been an organization from really since the 90s, since their ownership change, really, has been just a team that's looking to acquire talent, not necessarily make a good football team. And the Giants, they almost seem the same way right now. They have some great players, but they don't have a great team. I think their defense has been underwhelming. I know that they played Chase Daniel, so it looks a little bit better than it seems, but it's not very good. But I do think that there's two players that the Washington Redskins don't have that the Giants do have, and that's the difference in this game. Odell, Saquon. I think you could argue right now Saquon's the best running back in the NFL, especially over the last few weeks. It's definitely up. It's definitely debatable. I'm going to go with the Giants and Eli. And Eli is just so bad. Like every time anyone is even near him, he like rather throws a terrible pass or gets sacked. But anyways, I'm going to go with the Giants just because of those two players. And the Redskins are they're just done. I mean, poor Colt McCoy, poor Alex Smith. They have Mark Sanchez butt fumble at quarterback. I can't pick him.
He fumbled again and then picked up off his own ass in the game. Like, how do you do that? His first game back. Ridiculous. This game is so bad. This game will be the worst. The drizzling shits. How does Odell Beckham Jr. have more 40-yard touchdown throws than Eli Manning? Explain to me as an organization how that works. I get it. Trick plays are cool. Trick plays are different. Mohamed Sanu has like 3 touchdowns, and he's like
Mohamed Sanu had his first incomplete pass last game.
Oh shit, that's sad. Now, man, that's gonna be like an awful record. He's 6 of 7 for like 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay, those are cool. Those are dope. But you can't tell me that your quarterback is just never going to try a 40-yard pass down the field. It's insane. It is insane. I'm picking the Giants, which I hate doing, especially this season because they're not very good. And Chase Daniel had 4 fumbles, and the Giants recovered none of them. So their defense isn't getting it done. But it's Mark Sanchez. And somehow
Sanchez's revenge on New York, Dilly. You don't believe in that storyline?
Because it's not the Jets, no. Somehow Eli wins a quarterback battle against a different guy in a game this season. Somehow, some way, the NFL figured out a way to do that. Not saying the NFL in particular, but just in these games. That's sad. That is so sad. The first play Mark Sanchez had, he handed it off to Adrian Peterson, who went 90 yards down the field. If that game can happen again, otherwise, Giants are going to win.
You know what's sad is AP had a 90-yard carry and he didn't even get 100 yards.
I was so shocked when I saw that stat doing the recap. I'm like, he had 98 yards? What the fuck? That's because he has the most negative yard rushes all this season.
This was the second game in 1 year where the Redskins lost both starting guards.
Now they're both on IR.
How does that even happen?
Cole McCoy fractured his fibula, and I don't even understand. Like, that's such an unfortunate injury. Holy shit! I mean, they're sitting good. Kevole.
First of all, Mr. Washington football team.
Mr.
How? I don't know. Why are you signing Josh Johnson? Like
great.
Baseball player Josh Johnson to be your backup quarterback of Mark Sanchez, ignoring, well, we considered Colin Kaepernick, but no, we'd rather have baseball player Josh Johnson. That's better. Yeah, the Giants are a terrible football team. I mean, the best quarterbacks in that game were Tariq Cohen and Odell Beckham Jr. Those were the 2 best quarterbacks in that game. The Giants tried all that they can to lose that game, and they couldn't do it. The Giants will give all that they can to lose this game this week, but they could not do it. The Giants will end up winning this game, and everybody will be like, in Giants land will be like, "Oh, Eli, wonderful, Eli."
It's going to be because Eli's staying another year, Kev.
For 9 yards, but
How does this team just run the circle?
It's because Eli throws it -2, and then Saquon takes that -2. Hurdles somebody, jump cuts, and then runs for 25 yards.
Yeah.
It was 3rd and 26, and he got 24 yards on like the craziest run you'll see this season. Give this man a quarterback, please. Not Odell, but like a real quarterback, please.
Give Odell a quarterback.
Oh my God, it's insane. It's asinine.
Let Odell throw to himself.
This is the first time we're picking the Giants.
Probably.
I think this is the first time. That's sad.
Okay, let's get to the chat. We haven't even got to the chat.
Yeah, we can. We're getting a lot of comments. Actually, it only goes up for 11 minutes. So if you guys got new stuff, put it in there. I'm sorry I lost all the comments.
Dylan, what are you doing? Do your job, bro.
Ultra called you a chief hater.
I'm just telling you the truth. I'm just telling you the truth. What's going to happen?
The truth. Okay.
All right, we'll see.
All right, that's fine. Party Part says Steelers are going downhill. We'll talk about the Steelers here in a little bit. Predator says the Chargers are going to take down the Chiefs, but I don't think have the Chargers even won a game against the Chiefs in the last 5 years? I don't think they have.
I don't know. It's been a while. I want to say it's been at least 3 years.
I think 2013 was the last time the Chargers beat the Chiefs. Not 100%.
Then again, I wouldn't have thought the Chargers would have beat the Steelers either. Or the Seahawks in Seattle. So
that Chiefs Steelers game was dope. Sebastian's got the exact same score for the Bucks Saints, 48-40. Yeah, right. That won't happen again, but I like the enthusiasm. Ultra says Winston is overrated and he sucks.
he's played well recently.
Chargers haven't beat him in the last 9 games, so that's 4.5 seasons.
4 years.
Yeah. That was from Corey. Let's see. Ultra's got a Saints victory, 41-31.
That's his favorite team.
He does. What is this, Ultra? Like, I know you guys are missing the playoffs, but like, you know, like, I don't know what's going on here. We've been seeing that a lot. Let's see. That's a good. Giants 17, Redskins 14, says Sebastian. That just doesn't sound like a fun game at all. Like, at all. Fun score at all. Redskins are snake bit. Skins suck. Washington and Giants over under 100 people that give a shit about this game.
Over 101.
Oh, does it count? It can't count for the people in the office. You know, like the Redskins and Giants won't care about the draft. I don't think.
I'm sure that some of the people at the game might care.
They're giving out free tickets. I think they're gonna shell that out.
This isn't the Chargers.
Yeah, so I'm not inviting people to the game I'm not giving out the address to the game.
Guys, the XFL they're gonna play at the StubHub Arena. Did you guys know that? They're gonna play at the StubHub Center when they get their team. I can't wait for that. You guys can pimp out the
I can't wait to do some XFL videos.
I've got a beef here, Seattle. I need to talk to you. Here, just give me a second here, because you brought this. How the frick are you bringing in the XFL before the NHL? How?
Wait, didn't you guys vote on that? I thought that was already going through.
Seattle's getting an NHL team in 2021.
Oh, so that's okay. So XFL is coming
before the NHL.
Well, I'll be at the first game. You know, Dallas got a team. Texas got 2 teams, so I feel like it's a little unfair for the rest of the 49 states. But you know, we'll get some XFL coverage on you, 2020 boys. I'm telling you that much. Congrats to AP all day for that 90-yard run. I'm just so sad he didn't get 100. I don't understand. Savage Larry says Saints Patriots Super Bowl 53. That's his pick. I think all of us had that game in the preseason.
No, Kevole had Chargers.
For what?
Right? You had
for what? Sorry?
Super Bowl.
I did.
The Super Bowl.
I do have the Chargers.
You still got them.
And you have the Chiefs, right?
I have the Chiefs. No, I had the.
Wait, you guys all have
now.
Oh, you're just making it as a joke here. I don't know.
No, you have the Chiefs. Seriously, you think the Chiefs will get there, right?
I think they can.
Or are you not deciding until January?
Yeah, December 31st.
December 31st. Dilly's deciding.
You'll get to see those playoff videos, the predictions. Start Winston or Luck at quarterback, says John Calipari.
Luck.
Yeah, don't ever start Winston. never.
No, Winston's fine, but Luck is Luck. So
this is fantasy playoffs. You can't miss this opportunity. Got to go with the Luck.
You got to go with your stud, man.
Let's see. Make America XFL again. I love these XFL comments. Yes, for sure. Ultra's famous power rankings are here. He's delivered it to us silver platter. Rams 1, Saints 2, Patriots 3, Chiefs 4, Chargers 5, Texans 6, 7 Seahawks, 8 Cowboys, 9 Bears, 10 Steelers.
Where's Atlanta?
Yeah, what happened? Where's Atlanta?
They're above everybody else. He's just going over the rest of the
It's decent. I'd still have the Steelers higher, but I know people hate them. So
it's a bit disappointing me. Saints got beef with the Bucks from last year. Oh yeah, that big old bench fight. Can we get another one of those?
I would still have the Bears higher as well. They lost with Chase Daniel.
Oh my god, they still almost won that game. That's so sad. That just tells you how bad the Giants are. Yeah, that's it. That's it for comments.
Okie dokie.
My number one team is still the Saints, by the way. I still will have them as my number one power ranking.
Same.
Yeah.
Okay. Next up, the New England Patriots take on the House of Horrors in Miami and the Dolphins, where Tom Brady is 7-9. Yes, 7-9 in his NFL career. I believe there's only 3 other places where Tom Brady has a losing record, and that is Seattle, which is, I think he's only played like 3 times. Carolina, which he's only played 3 times. This place he's played a lot. I think Denver is still one, but I'm not sure. And I think that's it. But yeah, Miami is the biggest house of horrors for Tom Brady and the Patriots because in December, typically, Patriots are a cold weather team. They go to Miami. It's very warm, takes them off their game, and they don't play well. They usually have a really big stinker game, but not this year. The Patriots, I think they already had their stinker, and that was against the Titans. And I think this time they'll be ready. I think they've been hearing about it. Specifically this year, everybody's been making a big deal about it when they haven't been in the last couple of years. So I think that gives them more reason to be motivated here. I think a key difference is that, one, the Patriots can run the ball and the Dolphins can't stop the run. And I think that's going to be the reason why the Patriots go into Miami, establish a good tone on the ground, and win the game comfortably. I'm going to say 30-17 or 30 to 14, 30 to 17 Patriots. I think they have a good game here. I really like the way the defense has been playing. And I think I want to see how the defense plays on the road this week. I know the Dolphins aren't special or anything, but it's going to get them prepped for playing the Steelers the following week on the road instead of playing at home in front of the crowd noise and the fans. So that's what I'm looking forward to. I'm looking just to see the offense, continue to operate well, and that's pretty much it. Just a good, solid performance before we go to Pittsburgh.
I'm going to preface this by saying that this last game was in New England, so I know this is a little different, but I'm just going to whisper into the camera real quick. Did you guys not watch the Patriots beat the crap out of the Dolphins last time? They were garbage. They were 3-0, and then they got destroyed, like absolutely beat on. Because the Dolphins had all this confidence against the Patriots, and then they got destroyed. I get it. It's in Miami. It's a terrible record. 7-9 for Brady. It's oh my God. We'll burn him at the fire. But this is a better team all put together, and the Dolphins are not very good. Patriots will win.
I need to just ask this question. It's a question that I've been bothered with for 14 weeks of this season.
Mm-hmm.
Can someone, for the love of God, please explain to me how this Miami Dolphin team is 6-6?
I don't know.
There's no reason for that question.
That
has an answer?
Do you want me to actually give you the legitimate answer, Kevole?
There's no reason. There
is one reason. I can give you the reason.
Not a human being on the actual field last week near Charles Clay to cover him, and they won the game. Okay.
Kevole, this is the reason. Okay. They beat the Titans. They beat the Jets. They beat the Raiders. They lost to the Patriots, the Bengals. They beat the Bears. They lost to the Lions, lost to the Texans, beat the Jets, lost to the Packers, had the bye week, lost to the Colts, and then beat the Bills. That's why.
They beat one good team.
Won a game with Brock the Heist Osweiler. There's no reason this team is 6-6.
Bro, he's 3-0 against the Bears. He loves beating the Bears.
They beat the Bears. That's about it.
Yeah.
He loves beating the Bears for some godly reason.
Yeah, the Patriots are getting themselves ready for that December. This is their time. They will not lose in Miami. They will win. Patriots.
Come on, Dylan, do it.
What do you mean?
Switch your pick to the Dolphins.
I ain't switching my pick.
Because I know if they do lose, you'll be the first one to be like, oh, the Patriots always lose in Miami. All right.
It would be pretty funny, but I didn't even pick them when they lost last year. So
okay. So what game are we at? We're at Kevole's team. The Chargers. The LA Chargers play the Cincinnati, just a mess of a franchise, the Bengals. I don't even know who plays for this team anymore. AJ Green's out for the year. Poor Tyler Boyd, because he's going to have to see triple coverage every game. And the defense is not – I don't even know if they have a defense. Does the defense come to the game?
They didn't come to the game when they were healthy, much less now. Like, do they exist?
I don't know.
I just received word here from the people here in Egypt. The Bengals defense is here.
Oh, wow. Okay. So why don't you tell them they actually have a game in the StubHub Center, your favorite place? You can give them directions.
Yes, actually. This is the good time to go on. I have to.
Okay, yeah, go on. Okay, so I'm picking the Chargers, and I have officially said to multiple people. Now I haven't said it on the Bottom Line View yet, but I thought this before the year. I am restating it now, and I'm happy that my prediction has come true. The Chiefs won't make the Super Bowl. The Steelers won't make the Super Bowl. The Texans won't make the Super Bowl. The Super Bowl will be played by in the AFC, by the Patriots or the Chargers. That was my prediction before the year. I am standing by that now. And I am very happy that my closet team, the Chargers, were able to beat the Steelers, even though I doubted them. I said it couldn't be done. They couldn't win it, and I didn't even do the charge. I said Steelers would win. But in fact, the Chargers are legit. They have won against Pittsburgh in Pittsburgh. And for everybody out there, they got to see it on primetime. I know you don't usually watch the Chargers because they don't get primetime games. And they beat the Seahawks in Seattle. They've had some legitimate good wins. They have the capability of going on the road. And that was without Melvin Gordon, by the way, against the Steelers, who is one of the best playmakers in the NFL. This game, they play at home. It's not going to be a trap because they're playing the Bengals and they stink. They will win 34-13 against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Man never gets to cheer him after last week's conversation where he didn't even pick him. This is easy. I mean, this is a loss for the Chargers. I will quit picks. This is easy money. They have no players. The Bengals have no players. Chargers beat the Steelers in a really, really good game last week. If they lose, I'm going to be so sad. Chargers win.
Before Kev goes and gives us some information, he needs to go on that phone call. I just want to say, I do not hate the Chiefs. I made a video about Mahomes and Tyreek Hill this year. Come on.
I'm sorry, dude. Yeah, I feel bad for you too. It is kind of weird in some ways, but life. That was Mike McCarthy. He doesn't understand why he does not have a job and Marvin Lewis still does. I couldn't.
And Hugh Jackson on the same team.
What a joke.
They have not won since Hugh Jackson's on that team, I believe.
No, it's a curse.
I told you, it's
he was
impossible.
A spy. He's the Brown spy. That's what it is.
Yeah. Okay. Again, for everyone here in Egypt and around the world, games are available for the Chargers. 18400 South Avalon Boulevard in Carson. You are able to get tickets at the door. I think there is also hot dogs as well that you can pick up. You might be able to grab some food before the game, but just check it out. It's a good time. Good time. I'm going to just point out, I am the only one on the bottom line view that picked the Chargers to win the Super Bowl, although I did pick the Steelers to win last week too. So, but I'm going with the Chargers here. They are in good shape. They are a strong team. Look out for the Chargers. That's all I will say.
Solid. Denver Broncos at San Francisco. All I'll say is San Francisco have pretty much their practice squad is playing now, and they play the Broncos, who they just lost their two best players on their football team other than Von Miller. I mean, Emmanuel Sanders is injured and Chris Harris. That sucks, Broncos fans. But at least they have Phillip the Man Lindsay, and that's all that matters because he's third all-time in yards per carry in a season, and he will get lots of yards per carry in this game against the 49ers, going over 100 and winning this game on the road for the Broncos.
I saw a stat the other day. How did Nick Mullins throw for 414 yards last week? And then he lost by a million.
He found Austin Pettis for like 3 big catches, and one of them was in garbage time.
414 yards, and he still got smoked. That's insane. Phillip Lindsay's he's awesome. He should be in consideration for Rookie of the Year, no question. He's doing really, really well, and I know this really sucks for the Broncos going forward, but this is a pretty easy game for them. Go on, Broncos.
Okay, I forgot I did want to talk about this. I think we need to have a conversation about John Lynch. A couple of years ago, we did a draft recap.
Yep.
We're all angry about this trade to Mitch Trubisky. We all thought that the Bears screwed up, and the 49ers.
I actually didn't say that. You can go back and watch.
Well, we were scratching our heads, including the young man there. That man right there. I'm pointing at you, Dylan. You were one.
Okay, I'm just saying, Kev. I said, I will back you up. I said I didn't think that was the right move, but if it's your guy, this is what I always say. If it's your guy, you get your guy. That's what I said. You can go back and watch that if you want.
Yeah, maybe we can share the link in the chat there or someone find that. But it's even worse. It's even worse watching this team. This team, I know, okay, fine. Yes, there's injuries everywhere. I grant that. This is a practice squad. Yes, yes, they're playing Nick Mullins, who's a number 3 quarterback. Yeah, I get it. Yeah, lots of injuries. Matt Breida is injured, but this team could have had Alvin Kamara. They traded draft picks to New Orleans, and one of the picks that New Orleans picked happened to be Alvin Kamara. Reuben Foster, that is a complete bust and a disaster. There's been as much as we were praising John Lynch, it's time to there's been some pretty serious arrows in San Francisco for a team that you did have in the playoffs, Mitch. I'm going to point that out.
I did take them out before the Bears, but yes, I had them in at one point.
Yes. So it's time to have that conversation about John
But
Lynch.
I also thought Jimmy Garoppolo would play.
And maybe this is different with Jimmy G. That's what we'll find out next year. But this team, this draft history, that draft that we all were loving, most people other than maybe Mitch loved, was not as good as they thought. And this team
I
is
do think though John Lynch does need to take some blame. I questioned him as a general manager at the beginning. I just don't know if he had much experience, and I still don't know if he really knows what he's doing.
Hey, Kev, to back up your point, though, remember when the 49ers, in that same draft, in the same round, actually, went to get Reuben Foster because they didn't have the 31st pick. They went up and got Reuben Foster, and the very next pick the Saints had, which they got Ryan Ramczyk, who's one of the best offensive linemen in the game.
Yep.
That's another big decision. Never know.
Yeah.
They could certainly use him, too.
Yeah. I don't think that the 49ers are as close as people think. Maybe that's the thing. Maybe it's not as simple as giving Jimmy G all this money.
They're lucky they're lucky they have lots of cap still.
Yeah. They need to bring in someone with a bit more experience to help John Lynch. I'm not saying John Lynch is a terrible GM because he made the right call getting rid of Reuben Foster, but he made a bad call drafting Reuben Foster.
I mean, he was a good player.
Yeah.
It's just
he's an asshat.
Yeah. Good term.
Oh, I'm picking the Broncos, by the way.
Yeah, I kind of thought that. Okay, Detroit Lions at the Arizona Cardinals in the irrelevant game of the week. Yeah, Dylan is literally puking right now. I'm going to save everybody time and just say I'm picking the Cardinals because I have a rule. When two teams suck and one is at home, I pick the team that's at home. Kev.
Yeah, I'm picking the Cardinals here too. These two teams are really crappy, and these two coaches may not be there next year. They are what might be one and done coaches.
I do want to say both coaches have done a really good job in their expertise on defense, specifically last week. Matt Patricia did a really good job last week, and blanking on the name right now.
Steve Wilkes.
Wilkes did a really good job. I think Wilkes has done a really good job with that defense in general this year. It's just, yeah, we know the problems.
Yeah, I'm going with Arizona here.
I'm still feeling sick from this game, guys. I don't know if I can continue. I'm picking the Lions. One, just to be different and try to get this win. And two, I don't like either of these teams. I like that there's some improvements to these games, and in these teams. And the fact that the Cardinals even have 3 wins with the talent that they have is pretty remarkable. But yeah, I'm just gonna go with some kind of hopeful game for Matt Stafford in the future. Oh my God, I still have something, or this team has something for the future. I'm gonna pick the Lions.
Okay. The Dallas Cowboys.
Was it time? Is it that time of day?
Wait. Can we get it? There's the let's do the Steelers Raiders quickly because we know who's going to win this, and then we can go later.
Raiders. I'm joking. The Raiders will fumble 2 times. They'll throw another 2 interceptions, and they'll screw themselves from winning the game. But the Raiders will score some points. I think it will be 35-20 Steelers.
Steelers. There's no.
Yeah, I agree. Steelers. We just need to get that out of the way.
The Raiders are more entertaining, crappy teams because they have and
they're pretty. They're interesting for sure.
They're literally strapping bandages on an NFL roster. I don't know where Dylan went. He's invisible. Until Dylan gets back, because we're talking about his team, I do want to say about the 49ers situation and the talk we had, I think the number one thing they're missing on offense is a big time playmaker at receiver. And I think on defense, we've discussed this, I think they need a pass rusher and some secondary guys. If they can get one good guy in the secondary, one good guy in the front 7, and one receiver, I think they could make huge strides. I don't know if they're necessarily a lot of players from getting to where they want to go. I think they're just a couple of quality players away.
I think these next 2 drafts are interesting for John Lynch. Hang on over here.
Kevole's playing. Dylan, I see you, but you're what are you doing?
Well, you guys had technical difficulties.
What are you doing, Paul Kruger? No, it's you.
No, it was you. The people in the comment section said it was you. Okay, come out here with me. You guys were talking the whole time. My technical difficulties.
I'm here.
I'm here.
Is Mitch here?
No.
Now Mitch is frozen.
It wasn't my computer. There. Oh, now he's gone. Oh no. What do we do? Because we're going to talk about that Cowboys game in a minute. Kev, how was Egypt over there? Is it nice? They got good.
Egypt is still wonderful. Everything is wonderful over here. The computers are working well, and everything is going well here in Egypt.
That's nice. That's nice. I do see an ATM back there.
Yeah.
Maybe you want to help out. Maybe you want to help out Mitch. Give him some money for connection, Wi-Fi.
Maybe. Yeah. I'm not getting anything of that super chat though. You guys are getting the money to get them fix the Wi-Fi. I got nothing here.
I mean, we haven't got. Well, we did get one today, but it was only $2. I don't think that's going to cover enough.
It's not going to cover any Wi-Fi.
You know, I don't know, man. Shit, I mean, I know there's some things going on, but like, damn, that's tough. What else can I promote here before we get back on there? Anybody interested in buying new Tony Dungy books? This is an old book, but autograph signed. Your name has to be Dylan, though. That's a little bit tough. Ooh, Ultra just sent us a $9.99 donation. There you go. We're getting the climb into our Wi-Fi accounts. Thank you, Ultra. We will fix that as soon as possible. Eventually, someday, maybe. I have no idea. I don't even know where he's at right now. At some point, I'm just gonna have to go on with the game.
Yeah, let's.
I'll give him about 3. Oh, there he goes. He coming?
There he is.
I had to go the long way because it wouldn't let me rejoin without on the normal account, or else we would have been booted off the stream because nobody would have been on BottomLineView account. But my question is, Google, how was I talking to Kev for about 5 minutes and somehow we weren't connected? That doesn't make sense.
That is weird.
It's very strange. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Well, but did you introduce the Dallas game?
Yeah, I haven't done it yet, so I'll go ahead and do it now. Cowboys-Eagles. This is a very interesting matchup, it seems. The Eagles picked up a Monday Night Football victory over the Redskins, the Deadskins, if you will. And, it was actually a 1-point game going into the fourth quarter, and then the Eagles finished it off. The Cowboys had a super impressive victory against the Saints. They played well. The defense played awesome. Leighton Vander Esch, kid's very, very good. Should be up there in the defensive rookie of the year conversation, no doubt about it. DeMarcus Lawrence had a very, very solid game. Again, the linebacker crew of LVE and Jalen Smith, very solid. I love seeing what I saw out of them last week. And Jordan Lewis coming up clutch. What a way to get your first interception. That's a big way to get it done. And Michael Thomas can talk all the trash that he wants, but his team got stopped. The offense is still very concerning to me. It is very questionable what this offense does. At certain points, I just want some play calling, some consistent play calling. Dak has actually gotten better in the last 4 weeks. You can see all the stuff that he's improved on and made better decisions, except for not throwing it out of bounds when you're stuck in a situation. He always takes the sack, trying to make a big play, and once in a while he can make a great play with it, but a lot of the times he's getting sacked. So that's really annoying. Need to fix that. But again, Zeke didn't even have the greatest of games last week, but was still able to contribute, receiving the ball, got a touchdown, helped the offense get just enough done. And I think that's a key in this game. I am picking the Eagles for one very specific reason, and it is that the Cowboys are 3-0 when I pick against them this season.
What
strategy
a
is
dickhead.
key. And I have.
Oh my God! This is so Michael Irvin of you.
I just got to be that guy, So I'm gonna go with the Eagles so I can help out my team. That means a little bit more to me than the pick show, and I do have a solid 2-point lead. So if I lose one, I'll take it. So I'm gonna.
I think he actually thinks the Eagles are gonna win.
No, the Eagles were not impressive last week. They played the Redskins. In all honesty, their game was not very good against the Eagles. They struggled. The biggest thing
My question is, can Cowboys beat them twice in 1 year?
I think they can. What's to say they can't? The thing is that they got Golden Tate. They got Golden Tate open more than I've seen all season. They did a really good job figuring that out last game. That's solid. That's impressive. Zach Ertz has been the boy for them on offense. And Josh Adams, he had some pretty good rushes. They gave him the ball a lot more than the last couple of weeks. But I'm not confident in what they bring here, and especially against that defense. I just don't see much. But I'm picking them for the reasons for the game.
Am I going or are you going, Mitch?
I think Mitch is still kind of frozen.
Yep.
Okay, I'll go.
Yeah.
I do not have a rooting interest in this game. It does not. Does Mitch think I'm frozen?
No, I was just waving. I thought you guys thought I was frozen.
Okay, good. I'm like, was it frozen?
Okay,
I do
go
not
ahead.
have a rooted interest in this game. I do not need to pick someone else in the hopes of someone else to win.
Wait, but you kind of do have an interest because this has wild card implications.
Yes, it does. We'll get to that in a moment because
Yes.
I'll make this statement there. This, to me, from the beginning of the season, this is what I have said about the Dallas Cowboys. I can't trust this coach. I can't just trust this team in big games. They beat the New Orleans Saints last week. That's fine. But the New Orleans
It's the
Saints,
biggest game all year, so I mean,
in a game that really the New Orleans, that they scored 13 points. This is the thing. I kind of was wondering if the Eagles were done after that New Orleans Saints game of 48-7. Yes, they got blown out. I was not impressed with Carson Wentz. He overthrew 2 balls for sure. But they have found a way to beat the Giants 25-22. Whether I'm going to use your own argument, Dylan. A win is a win. You said Kansas City.
You're right. You're right.
40-30, and you were all okay with it. But you are now not giving the Eagles any credit.
No, I said they won the game. I just said it wasn't impressive. It wasn't.
No, but you're all happy about you're patting Kansas City on the back there for their unimpressive victory.
No, but I'm just saying that they won, but nothing impressed me about the game. At least the Chiefs' offense scored 40 points still.
Their defense gave up 30. Do you care about that?
Yeah,
Did you not listen to my argument when I said they were trash as well? That's what I said about that. There's 1 positive minus 0 positive.
I think the Eagles are starting to get it a little bit together. I think that they have found a way to keep themselves somehow in this playoff hunt when they may have been shot in the foot. I think that they have I know that everybody loves Amari Cooper, and he's been good. I'm not disputing that he has not been good, but I do feel that the Eagles have more weapons, and I think that they're going to find a way to do enough to contain Elliott and Cooper, and especially if this is a low-scoring game, I'm going to go with the Eagles to win this game because the Dallas Cowboys have not beaten the Philadelphia Eagles 2 straight times, and I don't see it. I just don't see it this year. And also, I'm just going to point out, when I pick the Cowboys, they don't seem to win, so maybe this is almost a help for you in some ways, Dylan.
Mine's like,
but I am picking the Eagles here. I do think that I'm legitimately picking the Eagles because I do believe the Eagles can win this game, and I think this is what I'm going to say: the Eagles are going to be the 6th seed in the playoffs.
I really hope not.
They're making it.
Man, that's funny. That's a good one. I like that, Kev. I didn't not like the laugh that I had last year around the same time about a different team, but that's a good one. I like that one.
I'll pick the Cowboys just because.
There it is.
I don't know. I think this game could go either way, legitimately. I just the biggest question I have is, can the Cowboys beat the Eagles twice in a season? I don't know. But I guess, I'll just take the team that I think's been playing better. And honestly, I can't pick against this defense right now, so I'm picking the Cowboys. I have no faith in their offense still, though. I have no faith in their offense. Kev?
Yeah, I do like that defense. I will give that defense credit. They might be top 2 in the NFC. If you want to make an argument number 1, I'm not going to dispute it. But if you want to say they're number 2, I'm not going to dispute it. But they're definitely in the top 2. I will say that. I will give them that credit.
Yes. Top 3 in the league, I would say. Okay. All right. Cool. The Rams. At
Ramblers?
the Bears. Kevole.
Look, folks, I know you all love the LA Rams. Ultra just put him as number 1, as the number 1 team. They're flashing around here. They're throwing footballs. They're running. Everyone's remembering a 54-51 game. But when they play a team that has a game plan that can specifically struggle them, Seahawks, Lions, Saints, when teams have a defensive coordinator that has a defensive game plan and can match wits with Sean McVay, they're not blowing teams out. They're struggling. This is, as much as we've just had this long conversation about Kansas City being one and done, I'm going to say it. The Rams, I'm telling you right now, the Rams are one and done. Guaranteed. I hope, for the love of God, I'm going to tell you this. I hope as a Seahawks fan, we get the Rams one more time because I know we can beat them. I know we can beat the LA Rams. I'm telling you this.
I'm gonna put this on Instagram, and I'm gonna put the Titanic in the music in the background, and then when the Rams win,
That's gonna be amazing. Continue the rant.
They are one and done. The Rams are an overrated football team. They are. Yes, there is a wonderful flash, but this team in the playoffs is going to get beat. Now, that does not mean that I think that they necessarily are going to lose to the Bears. I think that they may pull this out, but I'm going to hedge this a little bit. If Mitch Trubisky's playing, I'm going to pick the Bears. If not, I'll go with the Rams. That's how I'm going to pick this. This game is going to be close. This Bears team is a tough team, and I think that Matt Nagy is going to match with Sean McVay. Matt Nagy is not getting on necessarily the offensive credit that Sean McVay is, but he has a good game plan. They have a good running game. Jordan Howard can run the ball. They have the receivers. And Aaron Donald is a beast, but that secondary still has issues. And it's very clear to me you can rile Marcus Peters in the right situation. And nobody's really talking about how bad this linebacker crew in the Rams are, but it's a pretty.
I would say to counter something.
I don't think they're bad. I don't think the linebackers are bad.
Akeem Talib, since coming back, has been really good.
That was just last week, though.
Yeah, he played really well last week.
Yeah,
and I think he's a difference. But this does depend on who the Bears have at quarterback, because I don't think they can win with Daniel, but I think Trubisky can ball on the Rams. And the Bears have actually shown to be pretty good so far in prime time. I do not believe they have lost a game in prime time yet this year.
They lost to the Packers.
That's right. Other than that, you're right. Khalil Mack's debut. You're right. Sorry, but they have competed pretty well in prime time. They should not have lost that game. But, yeah.
Is this a game we're streaming, Mitch? We haven't decided on the stream yet.
Is this Sunday night?
Yes, it is. This was flexed in.
Possibly.
Sports Fury's not on Sunday.
I guess we'll say yeah, sure.
All right, well, here's your stream of the week, everybody, because I'll be watching the Cowboys game at 3:25, and then this game we'll finish it up with. This is going to be a really interesting game. I'm really looking forward to seeing what the defense for the Bears can do, because that Bears defense is something pretty special. I like what a lot of those players can bring to the table. Eddie Jackson, I mean, man, he's a star. He has 3 touchdowns in 4 weeks. Some receivers can't say that in the last 4 weeks. I'll tell you what.
Just to interrupt, this is one thing that I am intrigued at, because I think the Bears can score on defense. That's going to be very interesting. Go ahead. Sorry, Dylan.
You're good.
So can the Rams.
Sure.
Yeah, they did score 3 defensive touchdowns in the Chiefs game. I think what's going to be interesting to me is just seeing what the Bears bring. Because with Chase Daniel, he's just not very good. But with Trubisky, they seem to have some kind of, like, faith in him. Like, all right, we're going to give you the
because
key.
He's good.
Again, let me finish my statement. They give him the keys to the wheel, and he's been able to give them solid, credible wins over the rest of the season. Their defense does a lot, but you have to have a quarterback that does good enough to win football games, and he's done very good up to this point. I'm still going to take the Rams in this one. I like the Bears pick, Kev. I think this is a more solid one than the Ravens one, but I like where you're going here. The thing for me is that I just think the Rams are going to control this game. I think Sean McVay realizes what the talent that there is on the Bears. He talked about it earlier today. He knows what this Bears defense brings because he named every single one of them and like everything they bring to the table. So I think he knows the game plan that they're going to want to bring, and I think he knows what his team can offer up in scoring points. It's going to be like a number 1 offense versus number 1 defense kind of scenario, and typically the number 1 defense wins. But in this game, I'm going to go with the Rams.
So, I watched the Lions and Rams about an hour and a half ago, 2 hours ago, whenever we started this stream, just before that. The Rams offense looked really bad. And the biggest reason was because Jared Goff looked really, really bad. Like, really bad. He was missing a lot of throws. He was under pressure. And the gimmies weren't there for him. I think Matt Patricia did a really good job with the game plan for the Lions, and I think that's something interesting for a lot of teams to take forward. I think when you look at the Bears have arguably the best defensive coordinator right now in Vic Fangio. He's been absolutely awesome, and they always do different things every week to kind of confuse opponents. I am going to pick the Bears. Again, if Mitch Trubisky's playing, that is, if he's playing, I'm picking the Bears. If he doesn't, I'm not picking the Bears, obviously, because Chase Daniel is crap. But when I watched that game, I think I've said it numerous times. You know, we talked about it last playoffs with Atlanta. If you take away Todd Gurley or do a good job of minimizing Todd Gurley, you have a good chance of winning the game. Because I just think, like, especially without Cooper Kupp, like Brandon Cooks is good, Robert Woods is good, but they're not Julio or Antonio Brown or Odell, or like they're not going to single-handedly beat you. Like Todd Gurley is the engine of this offense, and Jared Goff is not Tom Brady or Patrick Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers or anyone like that. Jared Goff, I still believe, is a good quarterback, but still relies heavily on the system. And I think we've seen that a lot throughout this season. And the defense is pretty good. They can make some plays. And I think last game, if you watch that Lions game, you know I think that might have been the biggest game for Aaron Donald's MVP case. Because without Aaron Donald making some of those plays in that game, specifically the big strip fumble play on Matt Stafford, they wouldn't have won that game. That set up a Todd Gurley touchdown. So I just, again, yes, the Rams beat the Lions. The score was very, very deceiving. It was not a 30-16 or whatever it was. It was a one-score game, and they scored at the end. I think the Rams need to have some convincing victories down in December going into the playoffs, or else they'll end up the way that they did last year. Now, I don't think that they're going to go one and done. I think they're more likely to than the Saints, but I'm going with the Bears just because I think their defense matches up well. I think they can do a good job of slowing down Todd Gurley. And I think that offensively, they have enough on offense in terms of what Matt Nagy can bring to the table and Trubisky with his legs. I think they have some things that will give them a tough time. Tariq Cohen's playing awesome too. Shout out to him. I just think the Rams are going to have a tough time in this game, and I think Jared Goff's going to have one of his worst games of this season after what I saw against the Lions. So I'm going with the Bears, and it's at home, so that helps even more. All right. And Kevole, the Seattle Seahawks take on the Minnesota Vikings on Monday Night Football. Kevole.
Big game. I'll get to that in a second. Put that over here. I'm going to let you talk a little bit more about the Vikings, what you saw last week from that perspective. I'll get into the Seahawks. I actually wasn't super impressed with them last week. I know Pete Carroll was really happy with the game, and Bobby Wagner beasted out, and Austin Colitro beasted out, but they played a really bad San Francisco 49ers team last week. Like that's a really bad football team with practice squad and injuries and stuff. They did get their 150 yards that Pete Carroll wanted. Rashard Penny is starting to ball out now with Chris Carson. It's becoming a very dangerous situation. Tyler Lockett is not getting a lot of credit of being a very good. I'm not saying he's a number one receiver in this league. I'm not saying he's in that number one echelon. But in this system, Tyler Lockett makes play. It works. That the system that Tyler Lockett is in, if we call it their system quarterbacks, Tyler Lockett is almost a system wide receiver. This really fits for him. The style really fits for him.
He's only not scored a touchdown in 3 games this season.
Yeah, it's worked. The system works for him. It does. The offensive line had a huge hole last week when DJ Fluker went down. I think he's been in a lot of ways the heart and soul of that offensive line. So really going to be interested to see what happens. But the offensive line is obviously playing better. Bobby Wagner is beasting out. I'm still, for the Seahawks, one of my concerns is still the secondary. I don't know if Trey Flowers and Shaq Griffin have been they're not exactly Legion of Boom, but they've been allowing a lot of big plays, and that's one thing that I am concerned from the Vikings' perspective, that I do think Cousins can get that ball down the field. But Russell Wilson, I mean, he sometimes has been running, but Russell Wilson is playing really lights out in a lot of ways. He's the 4th-rated quarterback in the National Football League. He's not getting a lot of credit. He's not running around and having to scramble for his life, but he's being efficient because the running game is efficient. To me, just, I guess, from my perspective, home game, prime time, these are things that Seattle do well at. As long as they keep their game plan, as long as they keep to their focus and what they've been doing, this is a game that I think it's going to be close, but I do think the Seattle, I think a touchdown game. I'm going to go 27-20 Seattle. From my perspective, what I'm seeing about the Vikings, I think they are not getting plays when they need them, and they've been very inconsistent. That defense is good. I'm not sure where Xavier Rhodes is at. That defense is good, but I think the offense has been a little bit too inconsistent for me from the Vikings' perspective, and I think that's going to hurt them. I feel like the Seahawks are more consistent right now and finding ways to win and playing with more confidence. So as a fan and from an objective point of view, this is a game that I feel the Seahawks should win. And I'm going to say this, the winner of this game is in the playoffs.
Dylan.
I would agree with that. I wish Tyler Lockett would just get the ball more. He had 1 catch, and he got a touchdown off that. I know Wilson only had 11 completions. He didn't have to do much.
Yeah, and
he didn't have to do much. But yeah. I hope they do target him a lot more this game. We watched the Vikings and the Patriots game, and I just saw that the Vikings were really it was a confusing game just to watch one team here, because their run game wasn't very great, but Dalvin Cook was getting some really good pass opportunities, and he was making some plays, but he was their best player on offense. Kirk Cousins seemed to make some mistakes that just weren't very good. The defensive pressure from the Patriots is obviously a big issue for him. And again, this question has to be arisen. Can Kirk Cousins play in these big primetime situations, these really big games? And so far this season, he really hasn't. He hasn't shown up to these big moments. This is Monday Night Football. This is the last game of the week, and it's for a big playoff position. This is to me, who's going to get the 5th seed in the wild card. So this is a big opportunity for both teams to pick up a huge victory down the stretch and help out their team as well to strengthen up, here's who the teams that we've beaten, and this is a big one for both of them. I'm going to go with the Seahawks. They have shown me more in the last month than the Vikings have. They've showed me more quality wins. They've showed me more of a team as overall. They've showed some really good gameplay. Bobby Wagner is a beast. Their game plan with running the ball a lot more has really, really helped. And guys like Chris Carson and Rashad Penny have made themselves really good assets to this team. And I just think they're the more stronger team. The Vikings' run game has been very inconsistent. Some days they don't get a lot of rushes, and then other days they do, and they don't get a whole lot of yards. So it's a back-and-forth situation. Dalvin Cook can make some plays, but I haven't seen that consistently from one week to the next for the Vikings team. And I just think that the Seahawks are going to make one more big play. I think it'll be close, but I think it'll be one more big play to get it done. I'm going to say 28-24. I think it's going to be a fun matchup, and like I said, determines who's solidifying their spot in the playoffs for a wild card spot. But I'm picking the Seahawks. I've got more confidence in them.
Okay. Go ahead, Mitch.
You want to say something?
I'll say it after. You can say it. Wait.
Seahawks. That's where I'm going with my pick. Seahawks 26-20 over the Minnesota Vikings. I got to get a good look at the Vikings last week, as did Dylan. And in that game, they pretty much solidified all of my fears about the Vikings. I think that they have the most overrated offensive coordinator in the entire NFL. DeFilippo, I think, has been horrible all year. I think a lot of what the Vikings have done on offense, even though I think that was the first game they didn't score 20 points since they played the Bills, which was week 3 or 4. But all they've done on offense has been because of their players. Like it's another Packers Giants situation like from a couple of years ago where it's like if Cousins isn't making a great throw or Thielen isn't getting wide open or Diggs isn't making a great catch or Cook isn't blowing by somebody, they're not like he's not doing anything to help them really other than a couple screens here and there. You don't see anything out of this world. And Bill Belichick and Brian Flores, they were all over everything that the Vikings tried to do on offense. They were just there. I mean, their pass rush was great because the Vikings don't have a good offensive line. That's another huge issue with this team. I think the Seahawks, they're just going to be the Seahawks don't run a similar defense to New England, so it'll be a little bit different, but it's not hard to figure out what the Vikings are going to do. I mean, we saw it with the Bears too. The Bears were all over whatever the Vikings wanted to do. It's almost like they read their mind before the play started. That's exactly what we're seeing with the Vikings offense. It's not necessarily that Cousins is playing bad, in my opinion, or that Thielen isn't getting open, or that Diggs isn't there. Like, it's just that their offense of scheme has not been up to par, has not been as good as what they had last year. I do believe that. And I think that the Seahawks, the way that they've been coached right now is really, really good. Russell Wilson's playing really well. Their run game is consistent. And yeah, if DJ Fluker doesn't play, that's going to hurt because the Vikings do have a strong defense. I do think that the Vikings will pose some issues. And I know they're a little bit banged up in the secondary, so we'll see how that works out. But I'm going with Seattle just because, like Dylan said, more consistent team. And I can't trust what the Vikings are going to do on the offensive side of the ball in terms of their scheme. So that's the biggest issue I have with the Vikings. And that might cost them a playoff spot. If the Vikings even had like Shermer from last year, I think they would be one of the top 3 seeds. But I just don't see their offense being very creative from a week in, week out basis. And that's been the problem for me all year with the Vikings. Okay. And that's the last few games have solidified it for me. So I'm going with the Seahawks.
Okay, a couple other things I just want to mention here. I think Pete Carroll needs to be in the conversation with Coach of the Year. I'm not saying he is Coach of the Year. I think you can make it.
I agree.
Another, but he has to be in that conversation. Jaron Reed, very underrated. Guy's a Pro Bowl, has Pro Bowl potential. I think that's been one of the bigger surprises. And I told these guys, and they have said, no, how me and streams just don't. I don't do streams.
Don't.
Monday night, if there is a stream, Kevole on the stream. What? Monday night.
Oh so that's a stream of the week.
We got to stream then. Got to stream. Damn, that's impressive. I didn't think
my coaches of the year are Frank Reich, Pete Carroll, who else? Matt Nagy, Sean Payton. That's pretty much it.
Mine are Nagy, Carroll. I'll give McVay credit. He's had a great offense, and McVay's been great.
Oh, Anthony Lynn, too.
Anthony Lynn. And I'm going to give a little bit of a shout-out to a guy that I think has been a little bit on the hot seat. He almost got fired this year, but I think Vance Joseph deserves a little bit of credit for what's happened with Denver.
Yeah, but I don't think he's going to win it.
No, but I think he deserves a little bit of credit. That turnaround in Denver hasn't been praised enough, but except the AC, who did have an interesting tweet that Case Keenum may have as many wins as Kirk Cousins this year.
Do they do the offensive and defensive coordinator awards? They don't do that, do they?
No.
They really need to do that. Because I think especially in these last few years, we've seen how much of a difference an offensive and defensive coordinator makes.
Yep.
So I just like to put that out there, NFL, if you're watching.
They got us on lock, They love us.
Okay, Dylan, finish with the comment.
My battery is at 12% in the laptop, so I'm gonna leave Egypt and I got my flight to catch here, heading back to Vancouver.
All right.
And we will talk to you all soon. Peace out.
Hey, Kev.
Peace, Kev. There goes Kev. Father Hawk over there. Let's see. Let's try to find some good comments in here. If you guys want to put your stuff in here and I can't find it, I'm sorry, but put it in right now. Get all that stuff out there. John from Hot Take Hockey. He's in there. What's up, John? And I haven't seen you in a minute. What's up, buddy? Ultra's got a Cardinals victory 45-36. Well, I mean, at least somebody will care about that game if that's the score. Jesus, it's a heck of a score. Coach, he's not feeling Mr. He said Stanford. I mean, I'm pretty sure he meant Stafford. He says 3 picks. So 3 picks for Matthew Stafford. That's not very good. Not very good. Sebastian's got a Cardinals 17-10 victory. Let's see. Bubba is still going with the Chiefs-Saints Super Bowl. That's where he's standing at. Coach says the Eagles are pretenders, and he thinks his boys, or I guess our boys, are going to stomp them. Well, in terms of picks, I cannot say that, but I hope that might be the case. Let's see here. Robot Guy is totally just picking just because 31-24.
Who's he picking?
He's picking the Raiders.
Oh, nice.
Over the Steelers. Durkant has a Raiders victory. Wow, this is no hype in the same. Let's see here.
As you're finding some good comments, I would just like to announce our poll results for the 2 days ago. The who is the best team in the NFL? There was 193 votes on this. The Rams ranked first with 32%. The Saints, 27%. Chiefs, 24%. And Patriots, 17%. So there you go.
I agree with those. I'm not surprised by that. But I like the people in there getting the votes. Durkant, how are the Cowboys blowing the season when they just won 3 in a row and beat the Saints? How does that make any sense? That makes no sense. 3-5 is a different story, but 4 games since that point. Robot says the Sheagles are D-U-N-E. Still D-U-N. He's been thinking about this for a minute. What's with the Discord thing? I don't know. I don't even know what we're doing.
I guess I got to check it out, but people are saying that you can go straight to YouTube with it. I don't know. I'll have to check it out.
Interesting. I still haven't been a big fan of it, but let's see. Did I hear Irving last week? Yeah, I did see Michael Irvin a lot last week. He was all on my Instagram feed on NFL Network. So happy. He was crying with tears of joy. Cowboys. I'm not going to cry tears of joy unless we win the Super Bowl. But as Michael Irvin, chill out a minute. I want you to be here for it, buddy. Let's calm down, okay? Let's see. Yeah, we're gonna stream. Are we still doing both? Are we doing Sunday and Monday?
Well, we'll see. We'll see.
If Kevole's gonna be on for Monday, we have to do Monday.
We have to do Monday, possibly Sunday as well.
We'll see about that. We'll see. You guys will at least get a recap for sure. Just go down a little bit faster here. Ultra says the Eagles are making the playoffs as the 6th seed. You think that would be the case? I just don't see it. I see the no chance in hell button on the Eagles there for the playoffs. People are picking the Rams, but a couple of different people.
I think the Eagles, if they win this game, they might make the playoffs.
If they win this game, I'll put them in a higher level. But it's interesting that wild card on the Panthers' hands, and then they just fumbled it away. I don't understand what's going on. It's disappointing.
Panthers.
It's like you're is that your closeted third team? Who's the third team? We did have this discussion before. Let's see here. Of course, the Seahawks are better than the 49ers. Coach says if Mitch Trubisky plays, the Bears are going to win. So that's
there. You go. Person. Coach has spoken.
That's the third person. You, Coach, and Kev. If Mitch T wins or plays, they're winning.
How many differences did we have this week?
Let's take a look. We all agreed on that. I picked the Rams. You guys picked the Bears. I picked the Falcons. You guys picked the Packers. We both picked the Chiefs. Kev picked the Ravens. Any more here? There's got to be one. Oh, I picked the Lions. You guys picked the Cardinals. Me and Kev picked the Eagles. You picked the Cowboys, and that's it. So 6 games on the line.
I'm coming back, baby.
coming back.
I'm winning this week, baby.
Okay.
I'm just letting y'all know.
Got the facts, don't you? I like
All
the
right.
confidence.
I think that's where we'll wrap it up.
I think that's where we will end it.
Tomorrow, because we had picks tonight, I will put out the Stardom and Situm for the week. A day or two early than it usually is out. So hopefully you guys enjoy that. And also this week I am planning to do videos, a playoff machine, the ESPN playoff machine video. I'm gonna try and do that every week, maybe. See how the first one goes. Like basically it goes, if you guys have never done it before, you basically go on ESPN, you put in all your picks, and then it basically simulates how the playoffs are gonna look. So I'll do that. And then I also want to do a Pro Bowl ballot, probably live on YouTube as well. So I'll probably do those two videos, the fantasy video, and then of course we'll have the live streams on the weekend. And if you have any fantasy questions, leave those questions on the Stardom Situm video. That's the best place where I can respond. Thanks for all the subscribers recently. It's been really nice, and all the support for the Patrick Mahomes video. That's been awesome. Anything else to plug there, Dylan? Twitter,
you can follow me at the Dilly Vanilli. Still have to get used to that. You guys can follow me there. I'll be uploading Madden stuff on Friday. I was expecting to do it today, but schoolwork got in the middle of it, so I'll upload it on Friday. It's no editing, but it's just going to tell you all the information for next Saturday. And yeah, stream. So I'm excited for that.
All right. We'll see you guys this weekend, and go tune into those other videos. Hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already. For Mitch and Dilly and Kevole of the Bottom Line View, we'll see you. Peace out.
Peace. That was a long one.